Hello, Paul. How are you today in Singapore? We have Anshika as well on the call today. This is one of our testimonial recordings.
Hi, Anshika. How are you going? Many moons, no signal. I think you left us, roughly October 2022, was it?
Yes. Hi, Paul. It's lovely to catch up with you again. And yes, I did leave in October 2022, and I moved to London for my master's at King's College in International Conflict Studies. So that's what I've been up to.
How did you go? Are they all behind you? I remember writing a reference letter to King's College at their bequest as a part of the process. That was a long time ago now. That must have been July or August 2022. How did the studies go?
The studies went really well, and I think your letter of recommendation worked really well for me. I got through every university I applied to, and I even got to the last stage of a bunch of scholarships. So thank you so much for that letter of recommendation. But King's was exceptional. I really enjoyed my whole year at the War Studies department there. And yeah, London's been great so far.
And tell me, how many of the students were Brits and how many were foreigners from other corners of the globe?
Oh, right. I was the only Indian actually in class. There were 34 students in my class. I was the only person from India. Most of them were career professionals. Some of them were from the military in Pakistan. Some of them were from the military in Ghana. So a lot of people actually working in the field, people investigating, actually working in the Navy, the military, and there were diplomats as well who I was studying with. So a lot of peer learning happened apart from just attending lectures.
Well, what a sensational opportunity. And you started off with us as an analyst and quickly became the manager of the information analytical team. The team's grown a lot since you were with us, Anshika, but very much based on the protocols, SOPs you helped put in place. Just trying to get a correlation between, the pros and cons, the good and bad working with us, and then how that prepared you or didn't prepare you for your next step, which is, in your case, very intense masters at a very credible uni, but then also, what's your next step? Where are you planning? Are you going back to India? You're staying in the UK? Just give us a bit of a couple of minutes on that.
Right. So when I joined APAC, actually working in education before that, and I have a background in law. I had studied international relations, but I hadn't worked full time yet in the field. So first of all, Paul, I'm extremely grateful even now that you trusted me and you gave me the opportunity to come on board at APAC Assistance as an analyst. I think that was an exceptional learning curve for me when I joined APAC Assistance, because even though I knew a little bit about what's happening in the world, I didn't know how to direct that information and make that productive for clients and what they would need and how they would perceive a certain event that's happening in the world. So that was a great learning curve from the very beginning, joining APAC Assistance. And then the trust just kept growing, I think, as I started working at APAC Assistance. We both realized that this can go a long way because there was mutual trust and mutual respect. You trusted me from the get-go to interact with clients, come to you with any of the problems that I was facing. And then 4 to 6 months down the line, you started trusting me even with editing, which was, I think it's the trust that really helped me grow and really gave me confidence to continue not just working with the company, but also coming up with new plans or new solutions or new SOPs, because everyone was quite open to hearing new ideas. So my progression from a teacher to an analyst to an information manager eventually at APAC Assistant, because of this theme, was quite seamless for me. And all of this really helped in my master's as well, because I brought in a unique perspective in class as a professional, especially as a security professional, because no one in my class really had done something like this. So even though they had other expertise, I brought in expertise in a way that I was aware that, sure, these things are happening in the world, but how are big companies that we will be dealing with, how do they perceive it? How do human rights organizations perceive this issue? How do different issues affect everyone differently. So that was where I could distinguish. I found it much easier to distinguish between these perspectives during my master's, and that really played to my strengths. I think what I struggled with a bit was that everything we wrote at APAC Assistance was quite concise and was very much tailored to the client. And that's not what you do for masters, because in your masters, you have to write really long form articles and you have to explain everything in quite a bit of detail. So I think just struggled with longer writing assignments. But apart from that, I think overall this was really, really helpful. Just my experience at APAC Assistance, taking that to my master's. Ever since then, I've been living in London, have been doing some ad hoc jobs here and there and looking for a full-time role here, Paul.
Well, Anshika, I mean, you were a magnificent initially writer, researcher, analyst, and then manager. I mean, you please go ahead and send me your CV with the covering letter, and we will look at, SPS and other entities that we know have a need for your skill sets in London. I will send them a personal note if you can send me a covering email and a CV, along with the reference we originally gave you. And feel free if you need that updated in any way or we forgot anything. But look, you are a champion and we'd love to see you prosper there. So it's your intent to stay in the UK for the foreseeable future, is it?
Yes, Paul. For now, I do have a visa till at least 2026, so I do intend to stay here for a bit. But again, I would really like to thank you. This is exactly the supportive environment I was talking about earlier. I was helped every step of the way. It wasn't just me working for the company, but I had an extremely supportive environment. And this is just a testament to that you've helped me every step of the way to get to a great master's program. And even now, I just feel like not that the company I will have a relationship with for a while. It's great.
Well, look, let's do that. And I've got a lot of travel on, so Bhargav will crack the whip on me and make sure we follow up on that. And Shika, just a couple of quick fastball questions. Since you've been in England, have you been to see either a game of rugby, cricket, or football?
Unfortunately, not in person. I have been to pubs where most of the people seem to watch these games. The environment is great. I even went for the Euro finals recently, and everyone was quite sad because England lost. But it was a vibe. It was a great vibe. It's been great fun.
And what about the whole British thing? You're not considering a British husband, are you?
Not at the moment. Not really. I find that's not for me. Not in my cards at the moment.
Do you mean marriage or a British husband?
Both, I'd say.
All right, look, Anshika, thanks for your wonderful interaction as always. You are extremely articulate, and that's what made you such a wonderful editor and manager, that your skill sets were such high level. And I know early on we beat you into a process of learning that anyone can write long-winded, eloquent discussions, but for client support, it needed to be very brief. And of course, now you've had to reskill back to the verbosity of the masters. So we wish you all the ongoing luck and successes, and please do keep in touch. And Bhargav, thanks for teeing up this chat. It's lovely to hear Anshika's journey again. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Anshika.
Thanks, Paul. The same goes for you. I wish APAC Assistance all the very best. I hope the company keeps growing, and I hope you're always doing well playing rugby and cycling.
Unfortunately, I've had to give the rugby away as I close in on 60, but the cycling is void, and I'm managing to control my weight, having gone from 100 down to 88 kilos. Thanks, Anshika.
That's really great. Thanks,
care.
Paul. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye, Bhargav. Bye, Anshika.